As you can see, Tesla shares continue their move to the downside this morning, a reverse of fortune for the car maker after 5 straight winning sessions. The declines coming amid concerns that CEO Elon Musk's politics are beginning to hit company sales. Joining us now, we've got Craig Irwin, Roth Capital Partners Senior Research Analyst. Craig, thanks so much for being here. We were taking a look at your analyst ratings on the stock. A longtime bear, you were neutral as of October of 2024. You switched to a buy rating in December, and then you increased your price target as recently as January 30th. What's your bull case currently?
So right now, the bull case is that autonomous, they're the world leader by a wide margin, and robotics and AI, and those are the things that get investors dreaming. Tesla is a hopes and dreams stock, and oh, by the way, they dominate the EV market, right? They might not be number one anymore because of BYD, but I don't think they really want to focus on commodity cars. The Seagull probably won't do so very well here in the U.S. when it eventually gets launched, if it gets launched. So Tesla's kind of the right place for EVs, has demonstrated success on innovation, and has a solid line of sight on executing in robotics, AI, and obviously autonomous. And autonomous, we got some great near-term catalysts.
And Craig, it was so interesting to hear, even at the impromptu, as it sounded, all hands from CEO Elon Musk, as he was looking through what Tesla would be known for in the future. It's not like he was necessarily just talking about the vehicles. He was talking about, it seemed, more of the robotics, more of the artificial intelligence. To what extent is that the kind of the weighting of the valuations that we're seeing come forward for the company?
Yeah, that's predominantly what people buy it for today. Those are the hopes and dreams. Those are the long-term opportunities that people are leaning into to justify the valuation, right? If investors want to scoop up the stock here, if someone wants to, bet on a winner, there are very few companies that are in a similar place to Tesla that have proven that they can get it done. So, Tesla's a leader in AI. They're a leader in humanoid robotics. They're autonomous vehicles. They have more data than anyone else. They've driven a
Yeah, but people don't want to buy Teslas
anymore,
Craig. Sorry to interrupt, but people don't want to buy Teslas anymore. They don't want to be seen in them. There's even a safety risk to being in them. At what point do you capitulate to the fact that people don't want to be in a Tesla?
Here's what I'm telling people, right? From the very beginning of the protests, there were anecdotal reports that there were paid protesters.
So fact checking immediately on that. There is no fact behind that call, Craig. There's no reporting to confirm that protesters are being paid by the left. That's something the president said on Fox News, but there's no reporting to confirm that, so we're not going to let our
As I said, anecdotal, right?
You think that? Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah. So when you look at the most important piece of Brad's intro for this segment, he said domestic terrorism. When the firebombing of Tesla dealerships and Tesla chargers was declared domestic terrorism, that was a big pivot point. Pam Bondi has already announced charges against 3 individuals. If you have charges, there's an order of magnitude more people in jail, right? A lot of these professional protesters are used to being let out immediately, and now there's some very serious
there's no
charges.
Evidence that they're professional protesters, so I think let's move on to another point. Yeah.
So I think the hard pivot in the stock is the Tesla gift cards. When we get the Doge checks, you're going to see a big halo unfold. And that
why not just keep the EV credits in place, Craig?
Sorry?
Why not just keep the EV credits in place then?
They are in place. That's the other interesting thing. Many of us were thinking that they would disappear at the beginning of the year, at the end of last year, right? Coming in January, February. And that was the chatter, and that was the indication, the sort of things that were being said to the press. So, those $7,500 car credits are actually pretty nice, pretty juicy, and they benefit everybody. At that point, our thought process was, if it gets yanked, Tesla's the only one with scale, so they'll be a beneficiary indirectly, right? They'll have to adjust price. But this actually leaves things in place for other companies that have invested in EVs and have actually looked to be more proactive in this game to catch up to Tesla. But when the Doge checks come, if the Doge checks come, it's quite likely you see a lot of those turned around and actually flipped into Tesla purchases. I think that is something that we can look at as interestingly, playfully as a Tesla gift card.
Right. I think it's just hinging on a lot of potential ifs and anecdotal evidence as of right now that hasn't been sustained.
As a hopes and dreams stock, yes.
Craig, thanks so much for joining us.